My question is, I've been listening to some of the CDs about the beating of the drum thing, and compared to many people, I have a great life and a great lifestyle and a great job, and I seem to have flattened out at a certain level. So I keep beating the drum about being more prosperous, more abundant, more successful, and I will. And then there'll be something else that comes along and snatches that away. It's like say there's an increase of 10,000 and then there's a tax bill of 10,000, and then so it's like I feel like there must be some other underground drum beating that I don't know about.
Well, it's actually not as underground as you think. In other words, quite a bit of it just now was above ground and easy to hear. In other words, stop and ask yourself every now and again, yes, but how do I really feel? How do I really feel? Because how I really feel about something, how do I really feel about paying taxes? And most everyone would say, well, it's inevitable. It's something that I feel I have no choice about, and it's something that I sort of resent doing. And we say, and that serves you in what way? In other words, and you say, well, those feelings are in response to the reality that I'm observing. And we say, yes, but you could mold your thoughts into better feelings about that and put yourself in a better place for allowing the well-being to flow to you. And so we're happy that you like our analogy of beating the drum. Someone said to us the other day, I worry about subconscious thoughts, sort of like your underground drum beating. I worry about subconscious thoughts. And we said, don't. And she said, but what if I have subconscious thoughts that are negatively affecting my point of attraction and I don't know about it, so I don't do anything about it? And we said, if they are so subconscious that you are not feeling any negative emotion, then they're not big players in your point of attraction and they don't matter. And if you are feeling emotion, they're not subconscious. So we'd say the same thing to you. If you're having emotion around it, then you know exactly what your work is. Make the best of it. Try to find some words that feel better. Beat a different drum, or let that drum remain silent for a little while. Just make the best of it. And what begins to happen, and it is a gradual thing, and sometimes that's the problem with gradual things. It happens so gradually that it's harder for you to notice your progress in it. But manifestations are a pretty steady indicator that you are making progress. So there's something that you said here, and you spoke it in a jovial fashion, and you really meant it that way. But when you said it, a lot of things lighted up in you. In other words, it was a very verbal acknowledgement of something that's very active in your vibration, and that is, it's hard to get ahead. In other words, good things happen and something happens that cancels it. Good things happen and something happens that cancels it. In other words, that's a drum that you've been beating, and that's a drum you want to stop beating. And so let's incrementally start saying something else. In other words, you said many things just now that were very positive in nature, but what you're wanting to do is take those things that aren't and bridge them a little bit. So let's do that just for a moment so you'll get the sense of it and get some real movement in your point of attraction. So about this thing about an extra $10,000 will come in and then an extra tax will come in that sort of neutralizes it. So that's a good starting point. So now offer us some things. Start beating some drums. Find something that feels a little better than that and speak it to us. Don't reach too far. Just find something that feels a little better than that and speak it to us.
In terms of money or just in terms of life?
In terms to that specific subject. In terms of that.
I have a great job that has a lot of potential. There's room to grow and leverage my skill base and bring in income because I build a business.
Good. Now all of that is good, but it hasn't done anything to change the way you feel about something coming and taking it away. In other words, that's the vibration that's hindering there. Is it because you already said all of those things? I'm very good at what I do, and I can create the means for the dollars to flow, but then something else happens. Somebody wrecks a car, or somebody does this, or the government wants that. And so that's the part that you want to bridge.
Well, so I can make an extra $10,000, and then something will come along that needs to be handled, and I can feel really good that I'm able to actually pay it, that I have the $10,000 to pay for it.
Excellent. And here's a bridge that will take you a little further. those things that happen are the spark that sets forth the desire that summons the money to begin with. And so rather than thinking of money in, money out, why not think about money needed, money in? In other words, I'm asking and the universe is answering. So anything I need will always be there. Whatever my needs are will always be there. Whatever my needs and wants are will always be there. And I'm working, you might say, to increase my expectation. I would like a little bigger buffer between what I am wanting and what I am needing, what's coming in and what's going out. But it doesn't matter. I don't need a big stockpile because I can always bring in whatever I'm wanting to go out. And so I always stay in balance. Now that felt good, didn't it? And you weren't vibrationally challenging any of it, and it was sure a better beating of the drum than where you started. Mm-hmm. And so if you'll now take that and think about it, and over the next few days chew on it and watch for the evidence of it and embellish it and find other ways to speak it, and let that be a stronger point of your vibrational makeup. In other words, run with this now. We've got it started together. In other words, run with it. Let it be something that you work on a little every day, a little every day, a little every day. And in very few days, you can be in a whole different vibrational point of attraction, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it, and you'll see the evidence of it. It is not difficult. It's very simple. You did very well at it. Yes. Okay. There is a practicality that does not serve most of you. And the practicality goes something like, well, I'm hoping that it will go this way, but it usually goes that way. I'm hoping, and what we want to point out to you is which of those vibrations is stronger within you. You're hoping, you're anticipating, or you're expecting. That expectation is a very powerful vibration. When you expect something, think about what the word expect means. It means I'm thinking about something that is important to me, and I've already decided how it's going to turn out. Ooh, that's big. I've already decided how it's going to turn out. I've decided how it's going to turn out. I expected. Well, I expected that. Well, that's about par for the course. Well, I saw that coming. In other words, I expected it. And we say, doesn't that feel good to know that you are the creator of your experience and that you expected that right into being? And then you say, yeah, but Abraham, I got to tell you, I expected it because I've been observing it. And that's where my problem is. I can't find a way to expect something that I'm not observing. And we say, then be a more selective observer. Observe the best things. Observe the things that are working the best and let them dominate your vibration. Because positive expectation relative to one thing, if you beat the drum of it and make it the most active part, will bleed over into other areas of your experience, as you verbalized so well to us already. Mm-hmm. Good.
I see also with listening to you that I've had this thought of like increasing and being more abundant, but not like with a specific way of experiencing it. So I'll have more, and then it'll get snatched up in some way because I haven't earmarked it for something else. I mean, I'm just seeing that I need to create more the outcome that I want and the experience I want of the desire.
We agree with you. That's what Esther concluded when she saw how quickly the universe would respond to her wondering about someone by delivering information to her immediately. And she is realizing that if she can speak it, the universe will deliver it. And so why not speak specifically? Why not speak more specifically and expect more specifically? And the way you do that is by doing more deliberate speaking of what you want and keeping your eyes open and then acknowledging the things that are working and then saying, well, if I can do that, then 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 I can do that. And in time you come to know there isn't anything that I can't do, anything that I want, anything that is important to me. All I have to do is speak it with this level of expectation and it will be. And then, the experience is so much fun because then you are one who is eagerly watching for things to unfold. You find yourself not feeling frustrated that something isn't happening. Instead, you feel anticipation about the way it's going to unfold. Instead of saying, will it happen? It's more like, when is it going to happen? And instead of feeling like, when is it going to happen? Is it going to take a long time? It's more like, when is it going to happen? And how am I going to feel when it happens? And is this a moment when a part of it is going to unfold? There is nothing that feels better than feeling yourself in sync with the universe. You feel like this blessed being who is being granted every wish in the best possible way. And as things unfold, you just begin to feel like you're being very well taken care of because you're important, and like anything, even the fine, subtle nuances of your desires are granted to you, because that really is the way that it is. Sometimes our physical friends have a hard time finding their place. They will say, well, Abraham, am I the deliberate creator of my experience? Am I the creator of my experience? Or are you telling me that I should just let go and let God? In other words, which is it? Do I direct my thoughts specifically and therefore tell the universe what I want? Or do I pet my cat and not worry so much about it and go to the beach and just chill out and allow the well-being that is important to me to come? And we say, well, if you're fretting over things that aren't coming, then our answer to you is chill out and go to the beach and pet your cat. But if you are wanting the hands-on deliberate experience of identifying a desire and then watching them come into place, then identify a desire and work yourself into vibrational alignment. There is nothing more exhilarating than to deliberately intend something and then watch it come into place and know that you have honed your own vibration into the allowance of it. In other words, it turns out that what deliberate creation is deliberately creating the vibrational environment within my being that allows the fulfillment of what I've been asking for. That's what deliberate creation is. It's preparing the vibrational culture, you see. It's not about something outside coming in and fixing it. It's about preparing the vibrational culture that allows the alignment of the circumstances and events. And there is nothing more hands-on than that. Now, someone watching you might say, you don't seem to ever lift a finger. I don't see you going out of your way. Opportunities just seem to come to you. You don't seem to have an agent that is applying for you or getting your name out there in any way. How does the well-being come to you? And you say, because the work that I am doing is not a work that can be perceived, because it's not a work that is overtly action-oriented. My work is the alignment of my energies. My work is a thought process. My work is to feel good. My work is to think about what I want if it excites me. And if it excites me, milk the thought because it excites me more because it feels good. But if I get myself into a place of excitement that is stronger than my belief, then I get out of balance. So then I go to work on bringing myself into believing what I've been asking for. And when I feel that click into place, then I'm in alignment for a little while. And then I begin seeing evidence of things coming to me. And then after a while, that feels so normal that doesn't really excite me all that much. So now I'm reaching for other things that take me beyond where I am. But if I get too far out there, then I get out of balance, because now I want something I don't quite believe. And so now I just keep making the best of where I am until I come back into alignment. And oh, it is so sensational, that feeling of coming back into alignment. And then I start seeing evidence of it. Circumstances and events start coming into alignment, and then it manifests, and then I settle into that. And then after a while I get feeling a little bored again, because I want to reach a little further. And it's just this constant process of reaching and aligning, reaching and aligning, reaching and aligning. And if you reach in your desire further than you believe, you're out of balance. If you're not reaching as far as inspires you, you're out of balance. In other words, somewhere between overwhelmment and boredom is the perfect life. Enough?
Yes, thank you so much.